put them on silent mode. Right? S'il vous plaît, éteignez vos portables ou mettez-les en mode silencieux. Right? And then I give the floor to the chairwoman of the board to introduce the work.
Thank you, Mr. Ibu.
You're welcome.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to welcome all our guests. Today we are here for the viva of the master degree of Mr. Debut1 and Mr. Rashi. And the work is provided by Dr. Shaban Mohammed and the examiner, our dear Mr. Bukhatsan Ayub, and myself, Mrs. Kishidanawan, as the chairwoman. So the work is entitled The Progressive Representation of the Female Subject in Bugis Novel. Thank you for defending our rights. So you have no more than 20 minutes to convince us. Thank you. You can start. Technical problem?
No, exactly. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. So the title of our dissertation is The Progressive Representation of the Female Subject in Ngugi's Novels. Okay, it is the title of the dissertation presented for the degree of Master in English Literature and Civilization. The work was done by me, Debut1, and my partner, Rashi Walid, under the supervision of Mr. Shaban Mohammed. Well, it is well known and also acknowledged by many critics that the representation of the female characters in African literature, okay, has been, a subject of debate. Most of the African writers portrayed in their fictional works submissive female characters who suffered from oppression, exploitation, and whose job or whose roles are mainly related to household works. One of the African writers is, of course, Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Okay, the Kenyan writer is famous for being interested in defending the rights of the oppressed. Okay, and Ngugi wa Thiong'o, as I said, this is Ngugi wa Thiong'o, the Kenyan writer. So up on this ground, or here, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, as I said, he tried to defend the rights of the oppressed, especially the status of the African women, simply because he believes that the status or the image of the African woman has been distorted by the cultural needs of imperialism, which fosters the image of weak people. Thereafter, and because he believes that women are the most exploited and oppressed section of the entire working class, I would create a picture of a strong woman with the will to resist and to struggle against the conditions of her present being, said Ngugi wa Thiong'o in his detained a writer's diary. So upon this ground, the title of, or the purpose of our dissertation is to the purpose of this work is to evaluate and examine from a feminist perspective the representation of female characters in Ngugi's first 5 novels. Many works have been done in this area of research. The most important ones, of course, are Judith Pochran's article entitled Women as Guardians of the Tribe in Ngugi's novels. In this work, the writer said that women, or the position that women held in Ngugi's works is quite intentional because she sees more leadership qualities in Ngugi's females than his male heroes. Elik Bome's Revolutionary Nationalism and the Representation of Women in the Writings of Ngugi wa Thiong'o is another article that stresses the importance or the uniqueness of Ngugi's works, because this writer said that the position of these women, of course, is the position that women held in Ngugi's works is unique in Anglophone African literature, and perhaps the most important work and the recent work done in the area of research is entitled Contemporary African Literature and the Politics of Gender, to its writer Florence Stratton. The latter believes that Ngugi's novel, Given on the Cross, is a new departure in African literature because it transforms women from an object to a subject. So here we have seen, or the works cited so far evaluate and discuss Ngugi's representation of female characters in specific works, or even deal with specific female characters, whereas our work examines the representation of women in a wide range of Ngugi's works. This is first, brings to light the steady growth of the status of these females and demonstrate as well Ngugi's belief that the representation of women in many African works is inaccurate and sometimes also misleading. In order to achieve this, we divided our work into 3 main chapters after setting the theoretical framework in the general introduction. The first chapter, entitled The Classical Females, tends to discuss and analyze the representation of women in Ngugi's first novel, Weep Not Child, whereas Females in Progress discusses the same thing in Ngugi's The River Between and Grain of Wheat, whereas the last chapter, entitled The Militant Females, tends to discuss the concept of militancy in Ngugi's Petals of Blood and Devil on the Cross. So the first chapter, as I said, The Classical Females, discusses the representation of women in Ngugi's first novel, Weep Not Child. This novel deals with the period of the Mau Mau rebellion against the British. Of course, after analyzing 3 female characters that mainly are Niu Kabin, Jerry, and Muihaki, after analyzing these 3 female characters, the characterization, the roles attributed to these female characters, we notice that in this novel, Ngugi creates female characters who are victims of social oppression and exploitation. So here, or so far, there is no difference between other African writers and Ngugi with Yango. The line between the two is, of course, the presentation of these females. Ngugi makes his female characters aware, enlightened, and engaged with moral values, as he attributes to them vivid tasks in unifying the family and preserving the culture. So all in all, this novel corrects the historical image of women, and especially in what concerns the participation of women in the Mau Mau rebellion against the British. Chapter 2, entitled Females in Progress, here the term progress is associated with the notion of protest. So this chapter sheds light on the steady growth in the representation of women in a grain of wheat and the river between. After doing the same thing, analyzing Mutuni Nyambura and the river between, Wambwe and Mambwe in a grain of wheat, we noticed that the practices of these women show clear deviation from social norms, because these female characters are more or much involved in political and social issues, and we came to the conclusion that the portrayal of these females confirms Ngugi's engagement in creating strong female characters and reshaping the historical image of women. And just to emphasize this, we have to mention that the character of Wambwe in A Grain of Wheat is said to be the counterpart of Kitilili, one of the famous figures in Kenyan history. She is regarded as the first woman, or she is considered as the first woman to die resisting the colonial rule. Chapter 3 and the concept of militancy will be presented by my partner, Rashidun. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Board of Examiners, Honorable Supervisor, dear ladies and gentlemen, and parents and classmates, thank you all for coming today. I'll continue what my partner already started. I'm going to talk about Chapter 3, the militant female. After experiencing a transitional phase in the river between and Grain of Wheat, Petals of Blood and Devil on the Cross reveal Ngugi's revolutionary ideology, which is based on the Marxist theories. Thereafter, his concern is with oppressed, along with the rejection of capitalism, which gave a new dimension to his portrayal of females. In Petals of Blood, Wanja and Yakunya are presented as very energetic, intelligent, and confident personalities. Their role is seeking change and transforming the society to the extent that pushes Magombe to assume that, and as he quotes, Ngugi values the central role of women in the regeneration of African culture for the reconstruction of oppressive post-colonial society to gender, respect, and equity. Devil on the Cross emphasizes Ngugi's revolutionary ideology as it engages women in the politics of gender. Furthermore, it transforms females from object to subject. Waringa and Wangari are presented as very progressive women who successfully resist and reject exploitation. Furthermore, they are the ones who are going to lead revolutionary movements in their own societies. After analyzing these females' character, we concluded that Ngugi wa Thiong'o in Petals of Blood and Devil on the Cross successfully created females who are parallel to their male counterparts. They are able to perform tasks that have for long been exclusive for men. And for example, in the novel, Naikunya, she was working as a mechanic engineering, and she gained respect of people in Africa. Moreover, these two works confirm Ngugi's involvement in reshaping the image of womanhood in Africa. And as a conclusion, from Ngugi's novels discussed in this work, we can clearly see the shift from tradition to revolution concerning the females in Africa. Unlike other writers who try to marginalize women, Ngugi in Weep Not Child, his first novel, presented women identical with traditional status of Gikuyu women. Whereas in his latest novel, and because of being influenced by the Marxist ideology that emphasizes the concept of equality, Ngugi wa Thiong'o created women just who are parallel to men. And thank you for your invitation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The two students, thank you for this very, very nice and elegant presentation. Now, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Bufatsan. As an examiner, I am sure he has many things to say about this work. Mr. Bufatsan,
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I would like first to start by thanking you for this valuable work and for the presentation you have done here. It's really good. And definitely your body language was really good. That's something we have to emphasize since it's really confident face our body language. The good things about the thesis is that it's the idea of the title and the topic itself is really good.